Christians who know they are Israelites. Or should I say Christian apologists who know that they are Israelites. Giving all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai B'Shem Kwadash. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I didn't set up any precepts. I'm just going to go with the Spirit and see where the Spirit takes me. But anyway, this is this page on YouTube is Jude 3 Project. It's a Christian, a so-called black Christian channel. And if you go to the home page of this YouTube page, one of the videos you have this guy, the infamous Vocab Malone, and I may go into that. I may look into that, but let me just let you see Jude 3 Project, and this was put up not even 2 months ago, entitled, "Can He Be a Hebrew Israelite and a Christian from People to Person?" Season 1, Episode 1. So I'm at the 5-minute, 3-second mark of a 23-minute video, and I'm just going to let it play.
All as the extremes we might have encountered.
For sure.
And so tell us kind of what was that journey like? How did you start to identify as a Hebrew? What was that journey like for you?
Yeah, so, and like, first of all, I'm a skeptic first, and I'm a very literal person. Not that I can't see nuance, but when it comes to definitions, that's the first thing.
Yeah, I just want to say a few words on his hairstyle. You can see that he got dreads, and you can see that part of in the front of his earlobe, you can see, and above his earlobe, you can see that he shaved part of his hair off. I mean, he does have a beard. He doesn't have the full understanding of being an Israelite is all about. So he's breaking one law, which is what is that, Leviticus 19:27. Bear with me for a minute. I just want to bring it up. I hope it's 1927. I know it's Leviticus. Leviticus 19. Yeah, Leviticus 19:27. It says, "Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shall thou mar the corners of thy beard. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh." Well, this right here is a New Testament scripture for the charagma. You shall not cut into the dead. I mean, ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. So this goes hand in hand with Revelation 13. So let's come back. So he hasn't come in fully into this truth. But I guess, oh, by the way, he's a battle rapper. When you see the whole video, you'll hear his story. So he's come across certain videos, I would guess, on YouTube about the Hebrew Israelites, and he was raised as a Christian, and he's a so-called Christian battle rapper. But you can see he's fully not. Now, he would be fully accepted into the IUIC because you have men that they'll shave part of their faces off. They'll line up. Line up is marring your, you line up your beard, you line up your hair. That goes against the law. Then they have dreadlocks, which the Apostle Paul speaks about a man having long hair. So let me let you listen.
Before a conversation begins, I try to do is like, I can say something, but if you have a different definition of what this means, then we're going to be talking about two different things. And so the term Hebrew Israelite, Paul said, I am a Hebrew from the tribe of Benjamin. Paul is a Hebrew Israelite. Literally, that's just the facts. All the disciples were Hebrew Israelites, and so the term itself just means a Hebrew person, and Hebrew is ethnicity, not religion. You can be a Hebrew atheist, and so when it comes to recognizing it first as a...
So he comes to the realization that he's an Israelite, but he's a Christian. And what happens is with this Christian movement, these apologists, and the apologists for that form of Christianity that came over here to America and Europe, Protestant. They're also Protestants. This guy Vocab would also consider himself to be a Protestant because they broke off from the Roman Catholic Church. But let me let you listen again. Let me bring this back a little bit.
Is a Hebrew Israelite. Literally, that's just the facts.
Well, he mentioned that Paul is an Israelite. Just like we say that we are the Israelites. That our line goes back to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So why is that a big deal? Why are we being attacked for it? Because these individuals in the Christian community, among these apologists, part of their belief system is that the people over there in the land of Israel, the Edomites, are the actual people. That's part of their belief system. So when we jump up and say that we're the Israelites, well, wait a minute. No, there's a problem there because the real so-called the Jews over there in Israel, no, they're not. They're not the people. They're not fulfilling the a prophecy. And yes, Vocab Malone believes that the so-called Jews in the land of Israel, the Edomites, they are the he believes that they're the real people, which they're not the real people. Oh, and then when you bring up Edomite to Vocab, he says the Edomites are done away with, which he has yet to prove. The Edomites are still here. The Edomites are in the power seat. So they're getting beat up. Every time they come with their Christian bullshit, they get beat up with the scriptures. And we know the scriptures far better. We have a higher IQ when it comes to the scriptures. So let's listen to a little bit more.
Disciples were Hebrew Israelites, and so the term itself just means a Hebrew person, and Hebrew is ethnicity, not religion. You can be a Hebrew atheist, and so
that's right. You have what is this guy San Miguel TV? You can look him up. He's a so-called Dominican Simeonite, and he was part of the old One West under Tazadakia, and he was so beat down by this form of truth that he became an atheist. And being that he doesn't believe in the Most High, Comfy fucked his head up so bad, he doesn't even believe in the Most High. When somebody makes you not want to believe in a God, then you really got messed up. But he said, but that's an example. San Miguel TV. And San Miguel TV started messing with us. And I went back and forth with this clown. I said, wait a minute, what the hell are you messing with us for? What did we do to you? He's like a scorned bitch that got effed over by a man, and then she hates all men, so she becomes a lesbian. Let's listen to some more.
When it comes to recognizing it first as a ethnicity and not a religious claim, I think it...
Meaning, your line, if you were to check back your line from your father to your grandfather to your great-grandfather to your great-great-grandfather, on and on, you would eventually come to the realization that they go back to the land of Israel.
It really, really clarifies things for people that have this mindset that, because you identify as Hebrew and you're a POC, you now therefore yell at white people on the streets and call them Edomites and say, you're going to bow down to me.
Did you hear what he just said? You go on the streets and call white people Edomites. Well, that's because he's been listening to the One West, the former One Westers, as vocab puts it. He uses the term Edomite. We're the only group that calls on Edomites. The Old Testament Hebrews, they don't know who the Edomites are. They don't teach that the Edomites are white people. Unless they're starting to now teach it. I don't know if Zion Lex teaches that. But I know the old school Hebrews, which I came up, my parents were Hebrews, old school. They said that the name of the Lord is Yahweh, and the so-called white men are the seed of Japhet. The first time I heard someone say the so-called white men are Edomites was at One West through the high priest Ariah and the rest of the seven. And they proved it. The people, the Edomites are here in the power seat today.
I mean, it's like, no, first of all, it's not biblical. That's heresy, and it's offensive, and for me, collaboration within the church, collaboration within unity, within diversity is what the gospel is all about. And for me, when I first heard about it, I was one of the people that was very, very skeptical towards it, against it, just because.
You heard what you just said. They're trained in a way to when they see us on the corner or on videos, they're trained in their mind to, no, these guys are going off, man. They're going to go to hell. First of all, hell is not hell. The concept of hell, as the Christians say, is a place that you burn forever. When you look up the word, and like I said, we have a higher IQ when it comes to the scriptures than these Christians. When you look up the word hell in the scriptures, and whether it be in the New Testament or the Old Testament, it's the Greek word Hades, which means the grave. In the Hebrew, in the Old Testament, it's the Hebrew word Sha'al, which means the grave. That's all it means. That's all it means. Yeah, but what about the rich man and Lazarus? Well, that was a parable. And that refers to the ones that are on top, the super rich, oppressing the poor, that the tables are going to be turned. And we are the poor. We are the meek. So we're going to be on the top and they're going to be on the bottom.
Just my roots theologically, I was just, trained to attack it, and so.
Didn't I just say that? He said by what he learned, he was trained to attack it. And that's what they do. That's why they come out. That's why vocab came out. he declared war against the Israelites, mainly the one Westers. See, people lose sleep over this whole Hebrew Israelite thing. And Vocab knows that we're the Israelites. He knows that he's fighting a losing battle. And he's easy. He doesn't know. He doesn't understand prophecy. He always gets beat up by Sakari. When they bring out prophecy, he starts to stutter. So, you know, you keep attacking and you keep getting your spiritual ass whipped. Easy work. Easy work. Let me bring it back.
And for me, when I first heard about it, I was one of the people that was very, very skeptical towards it, against it, just because, you know, just my roots theologically, you know, I was just, you know, trained to attack it, you know. And
so these clowns, these jakes that follow, see now Vocab wouldn't bring this guy, because he'll wind up coming on our side. Like I said, he knows that he's an Israelite based upon the historical facts and the scriptures. And this woman right here, she don't know what the hell's going on. She want to be the next Christian Oprah.
And so I had some brothers who I knew were Christians, knew were believers, and they were like, yeah, I claim to be Hebrew. I said, wait, but you're a Christian. And he was like, yeah, I am a Christian religiously, but I think that I'm ethnically Hebrew.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Vocab? You're losing big time, man. That's why they hate us. They hate us. Because, as they say, we're taking their people. No, those people are leaving you because they know that that's not the truth. They've been taught a lie. In the place where it was said, ye are not my people, there it shall be said that ye are the sons of the living power. I knew that they would not hear me because they are stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall what? Remember themselves. They shall know themselves.
You know, and for me, that shocked me.
Let me bring it back again.
You know, just my roots theologically, you know, I was just, you know, trained to attack it, you know, and so I had some brothers who I knew were Christians,
He said, I had some brothers, you know what that means, who are Christians.
Were believers, and they were like, yeah, I claim to be Hebrew. I said, wait, but you're a Christian. And he was like, yeah, I am a Christian religiously, but I think that I'm ethnically Hebrew.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Let's hear that again. Let's listen to that again.
People that was very, very skeptical towards it, against it, just because, you know, just my roots theologically, you know, I was just, you know, trained to attack it, you know, and so I had some brothers who I knew were Christians, knew were believers, and they were like, yeah, I claim to be Hebrew. I said, wait, but you're a Christian. And he was like, yeah, I am a Christian religiously, but I think that I'm ethnically Hebrew, you know, and for me, that shocked me because I was like, how can you be claiming to be a Hebrew? Bro?
In the place where it was said, ye are not my people, there it shall be said, ye are the sons of the living power. And I'm loosely translating Hebrews, Hosea 1, verse 10 and 11, and also Romans the 9th chapter. And Romans the 9th chapter is the only scripture you need to kill this Christianity BS. That whole chapter is dedicated to the Lord coming for the children of Israel. Not the Edomites, not any other nation.
Also be a Christian because the Hebrews I know are the people I'm debating against on the streets. You know, I'm fresh out of Bible college, and whenever I see them, I'm pulling up to go have a conversation. You know, and I still...
Yeah, because like you said, you were trained to attack them. Hey, just like the Apostle Paul, the Lord told him, why do you kick against the pricks? So this is the same thing as this guy was kicking against the pricks until he said, he had a Pauline moment, let's say. So what we're teaching, this is changing the world, man. When you have, this guy Sarnetta, the Israelite, we Israelites. Well, he mentioned GMS. He said GMS is by far no. This is what Sarnetta said. This is what Sarnetta said. The GMS group is by far the number one group as far as the Israelites is concerned. This is the same guy that was cursing us out. It took him some years to understand about the rape doctrine. It's just the scriptures. Polite asked us a straight question. We gave him a straight answer. We're not necessarily politically correct Hebrews like other groups out there. And as many times as Captain Zazariak went on this guy's show, Captain Zazariak is not feeling good about that. He said, wait a minute, man. I went on every time this guy calls me, I go on the show, and he's saying GMS is by far the number one group out there. Let's listen to a little bit more.
Still do that now. It's just a whole different conversation from a different angle now. So for me personally,
so the best thing for you Christians to do is don't bring your Christian followers around us, because they're gonna get messed up. They're gonna lose sleep. They're gonna have nightmares.
It really wasn't first starting theological. It was first historical, and then ancestral. So historic.
He said it was first historical and then ancestrally.
Just kind of tracing things, understanding that the slave trade first began in Spain and Portugal, and then from Spain and Portugal to Northwest Africa, which is where most people, when you do our DNA test, we end up being located in Northwest Africa. You start researching the names of the people on these ships, and seeing that a majority of them had Yah in their name, like they're...
Yeah, I'm going to just say this. If you go to IUIC events, the bishop, as he likes to be called, Nate or Nathaniel, he's got a lot of books, J.A. Rogers and other books, where they pretty much tell you straight up, that we are the people. You have videos. There's so many videos popping up where there's one video. There's so many videos I can't even keep them in my mind. You can put them in your favorites, but there's so much information popping up. But anyway, the Bishop Nathaniel is he's doing a lot of he's going into a lot of books, reference books, that tell you that these people were Negroes, but they were called Israelites, and he was going into the lands. A lot of West Africa, a lot of those lands were named after the tribes. You had a fort called Fort Judah. All right. I did a video where I showed a picture of it was a festival of West Africans. I don't remember if they were Nigerian or Bantu. I believe they were Bantu, and they had fringes on their garment. There's a famous picture of a tall Israelite man that had a yoke of iron on his neck, and he had this robe, and it was a Israelite type of robe. And on top of that, when they first started bringing the slaves over here, and before they called them Negroes for sale, they were calling them Hebos. Hebos for sale. And you can look that up. Hebos, a fine batch of black Hebos. The Igbo from West Africa, Nigerians. And the Captain Tazariak, he's waking up to the fact that, because they said, well, if you were African, you born in Africa, you're a Hamite. No, you had Israelites. Remember, Deuteronomy 28 verse 64, we were scattered. And there's many scriptures on us being scattered. If you go to Isaiah 11, I always reference Isaiah 11, from the 11th verse on down, it tells you the actual places that we were scattered to. One place was Egypt. Another place was Elam. That's why we're going to be as the sand of the sea and the stars of the heaven that cannot be numbered. Let's listen to a little bit more.
Or origin names were Yah, and these are all records you can search within the slave documents and stuff like that from the slave trade. They'll tell you their name, their height, and then they'll also say their original name and things like that. And this
is why Esau, the slave masters, changed our name, because we had Hebrew names, and this is why they outlawed the scriptures. Then they gave us a slave Bible, I think it's called, where they took out all the I forget the name. Somebody can put in the exact name of the Bible. But it was a Bible that Esau gave us in slavery that took out all the references of, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Isaiah 14, other references dealing with paying for the fact that you put another people in slavery. They took that out.
The biggest things for me, aside from the historical aspect, was a part of history for myself. So there's a church in Savannah, Georgia called First African Baptist Church. And this church was built in 1859 by slaves. And on the side of the pews is Hebrew writing. It is a mixture of Hebrew Latin writing. It's called Ladino, right? And the Ladino is Hebrew Latin. Why? Because Spain and Portugal, right? And the Hebrew language was not revived until, according to America, I think 1881, right? So this is roughly 30 years beforehand. So who taught them how to do this? When you look at this writing, why is it that this Ladino is being spoken with? Because we learn in history books growing up, it's like, oh, well, they were illiterate. No, if I go to Asia, I'm not illiterate. I just don't their language. They had a language before they arrived here. You know what I'm saying? So
and that language was Hebrew. Anyway, what I'll do is, if I remember, I'll leave the link in the description box. And like I said, I just wanted to say a few words on this subject. Anyway, on to the next one. Shalom.